What's up, everybody, and welcome to the newest edition of the Bronx Muchachos podcast. I'm your host, Mark, and we got some of the boys with us tonight. We got Danny.
What's good, everybody?
And, of course, we got David.
Hello, everybody.
All right, everybody, you guys know the drill by now. Like, subscribe, rate, review on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Odyssey, Amazon, all the places you get them. If you're watching us on YouTube, don't forget, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. It's a 5 Reasons channel on Thursday nights. Hit us up in the comment field, ask us questions, all the fun stuff. You know where this first segment's going. It's brought to you by SeatGeek. SeatGeek is the best place you can go to find yourself tickets for any event, including concerts, spring. You know, we got minor league, we got Major League Baseball, we got hockey, we got basketball going, we got MLS soccer, we got all that stuff happening. Dave might want to go to a Taylor Swift show. We'll get him on SeatGeek as well. So use our promo code RealBronx, all caps, Bronx Muchachos. Get your discount on your first order. So, boys, this past week was the good, the bad, and the ugly. All right, let's go. Let's instead of going good, let's go with the ugly part. And it's non-Yankee related, even though we do Yankee stuff. It is Anthony Rendon going up, grabbing a fan after the fan was not just antagonizing him, but antagonizing all the Angels coming off the field. Goes up, this guy says something to him. They have words, and he's grabbing him and tries to hit, and looked like he tried to hit him. So let's go, Danny. What are your thoughts about what Rendon did?
Obviously, there's a relationship between fans and players. But when you cross the line as a fan, some players just ignore it. Other players just like, yo, say that again. And Rendon was that guy that day. Maybe he had an offer that day. I don't know what happened. He could have hit 2 home runs that day. Probably felt a little bit better. But when you got fans calling you derogatory names and putting down your teammates as well, sometimes you kind of got to stand up to a guy that's just being like that. One way to do it is security. Another way is to kind of take it into your own hands. But unfortunately, as a big league player, you kind of get penalized for things like that. It's not good for the game, ultimately. And Manfred was like, hey, you can't do that. Gave him a 5-game suspension. That sucks for him, sucks for his pocket. But Rendon, he's been hurt like ever since he got to the Angels anyway, so he never plays. So are the Angels going to miss him? Probably not. But it's a bad situation for everybody involved.
So yeah, it's a bad situation. I see the reason why MLB had to step in and do what they did, but this goes both ways. Fans should not be doing stuff like that. First of all, let's just settle that one, because we saw what happened last year with the same situation. He had Miles Straw getting into it with Yankees fans in center field during last year's game when Stephen Kwan went in face first into the wall, and fans were like, some Yankees fans were like cheering and whatnot. That's not cool. And Miles Straw gets in the face of the fans in center field. Granted, he ain't hit anyone like Rendon did, but how are you going to give Rendon a 5-game suspension and then not do anything to discipline Miles Straw? To the best of my recollection, I don't think any disciplinary action came down from that. But at the same time, like, the fan that got in Rendon's face that made this thing escalate to what it became should also have had his tickets revoked for life. I mean, we saw what happened with the fan during the Red Sox series last year where they threw a ball or threw something at Alex Verdugo. That fan got banned for life and is never allowed to set foot in any of the 30 major league ballparks ever again. So I'm not saying Rendon should have taken it. I'm not saying Rendon acted appropriately, but what I'm saying is like, you can't not suspend one dude and then hand out a 5-game suspension for the other. To me, that's just not right. I don't think Rendon should have to I don't think any professional athlete should have to put up with this. But I mean, thank God it's not like back in the day when Derek Sanderson and Terry O'Reilly went up into the stands in Philadelphia to handle some fans back in the 80s or 70s. And the same thing, like, Danny, when you and I were kids, Malice in the Palace, when, the Detroit Pistons went up into the stands and started slapping people around. So thank God it didn't get to that level. But yeah. I do think that MLB should be handing down equally appropriate discipline for the player that got involved and the fan that got involved. And this, like I said, to see Miles Straw not get suspended and Rendon get suspended, it's just kind of like talking out of both sides of your mouth, in my opinion. So that's where I'm at with it.
Well, there's two different things with that. One, Miles Straw never put hands on the fans. He went up to them and was talking.
But I mean, it came close,
but he didn't touch him. That's the difference. And secondly, when Rendon went, it's not that it's the fan was in Oakland. The fan was saying something to all the Angels walking by. Now, I don't want to be put into the corner where I'm defending the fans the entire time for this. But in this instance, the Oakland fan was saying something to all the Angel players as he walked away. Rendon caught it, turned around, asked the fan, "Hey, come here to say it to my face." The fan went over and said it to him, and Rendon grabbed him. That's why he gets the 5, is because he went ahead and grabbed him, and then he tried to take a swipe at the end after the fan got away from him. There's a difference. Miles Straw turned around, jumped up, and was trying to talk smack to everybody, and everybody talked smack back to him. And he never went ahead and crossed that line of trying to go and bring that fight into the stands. That's the big difference between the two. And that's why there's the difference. That's why there's the suspension. Just like we were saying before, the Malice and the Palace, which everyone remembers, which changed basketball in its entirety. Yep. You had Ron Artest before he became Meta World Peace. You had a bunch of other guys.
Ben Gordon, I think, too, was involved in that.
No, he would no. But Ben Gordon was on the court. He was trying to hold hold some of the Pacers back.
Right.
You had Jermaine O'Neal defending people because one of the fans got on the floor, and Jermaine O'Neal cracked someone on the floor over there. And you had, I think, Lance Stevenson ran up into the stands as well. I mean, they went up there, and why? Because thank you, Steven Jackson. But why? Because the fans turned around, and it wasn't the fans were just chirping. They were throwing beer. They were throwing things.
They were throwing stuff.
Oh yeah. No. There's a cool documentary. There's a cool documentary about that on Netflix if you ever want to check that out, which Jermaine O'Neal produced and talks about all 3 guys.
I just remember watching the highlight on ESPN, and I think I was in high school when this went down too. And I just look at my dad. I was like, "What in the world is this all?" He's like, "You think that's something? You should have seen it when Terry O'Reilly and the rest of the Boston Bruins went up into the stands in Philadelphia and started slapping people around." So, I mean, this isn't like the first time it's ever happened.
Well, don't forget. I mean, you had Kareem. What was it? Kareem Garcia jump into the. He jumped in 2003. Jumped into the bullpen because the fans jumped because the fans were trying to jump into the Yankee bullpen. It's the same thing, but the difference, like I said,
keeper.
but like I said, the difference was that Miles Straw doesn't get a rip for it because he never laid hands on a fan. Anthony Rendon turned around and laid hands on a fan. That's where it goes. Players have to understand that they're going to be clipped for all that stuff. We as fans, yes, we can say whatever we want. We're sitting here right here. 3 of us sitting here. We're going to say whatever we want to say about Rendon. We got other topics we're going to talk about tonight. But the difference is that those guys aren't coming up and putting their hands on us for saying what we're saying. They got to deal with it. They got to take it for the good and the bad. So that's the difference. And speaking of all goods and bads, Field Poster City Country Free Coffee Cherry Bull King. That's a heck of a full name right there from YouTube. Did you say Ben Gordon, dude, from NBA? Yes, we did. We said it's not Ben Gordon, Ben Wallace. Ben Gordon actually just got arrested up in Connecticit for weapons and some other stuff.
That's why I had him on my mind.
Yeah, Ben Gordon got arrested recently, just within the past day or two for weapons charges in Connecticut. Ben Wallace was the big guy over for the Pistons.
Yeah,
but going from the ugly, let's move a little bit to the bad, and the bad being our good old friend Aaron Hicks.
This guy, man, I just can't. I can't
He certainly he doesn't understand his role on the team. He just wants to play. He just wants this. Hey, you know what? he didn't
Plain
have
and
his ring.
simple.
He lost his job. Yankees should have traded him over the offseason so they didn't have to deal with this and have this headache on their case. Now they're going to have to deal with it all. So, Dave, you're going away with that. Tell everyone what you think about this.
I'm over this. I'm over it. I'm over defending this guy. Like, I was willing to defend him in spring training this year because he looked somewhat good, but I mean, it just I just can't. I can't defend this any longer. He's now 0-4-10 the last time I saw. This is just getting indefensible at this point. He can't put bat on ball, and when he does, he's hitting it right to somebody on the left side of the infield. At this point, he's nothing more than a defensive replacement in the ninth inning, in my opinion. We talked about him getting traded possibly in spring training, but it's kind of hard to trade somebody that has no trade value, that nobody wants, with $30 million still attached to them. It's just kind of where it is. It's just, and for him to go out and say what he said to The Athletic after him and Boone talked about this in the office, he turns around and then goes to the media with this nonsense saying, I don't understand my role. I'm here to start because I'm getting paid X amount of dollars. Well, dude, guess what? You got to produce at the same time. You cannot go up there and be an offensive liability every time you come up to the plate, my man. And you're striking out with guys on base, popping balls out, lining out, grounding out with dudes on base. And it's just it's at that point where this is just can't be defended anymore. And for him to act the way he's acting is selfish, in my opinion, when his focus should be on helping the team, not his own personal ambitions. So that's how I feel about this.
What about you, Danny? What
I
are your thoughts on this?
Three-headed monster. Yeah, I think it's kind of like a three-headed monster between Hicks, IKF, Donaldson. Those three guys, we're not expecting the world for them. We said this throughout the entire offseason. All you got to do is be big league average, and, there's some production there with that. But for Hicks to make those comments and for it to be even spoken about, everybody wants to start, but not everybody's going to get that opportunity when you have people out producing them. So Hicks may want that, IKF may want that, Donaldson may want that, but at the end of the day, we got guys on this team that are producing better or can produce better. So when those opportunities arise I'm going to put them all together, Hicks, IKF, and Donaldson, they need to come through and produce in order for this to get more opportunities. But Hicks has always, I feel like, I'm not sure he's worked hard enough, or I'm not sure about. He hasn't done it enough production-wise to even earn an everyday left field spot, or even be a backup center fielder at this point. They got IKF being a backup center fielder. What's going to happen when Harrison Bader comes back to this team? Because Bader's going to play a majority of the time in center field. Hicks is probably going to see even less time in the outfield. IKF is going to see probably more time in third, especially now with Donaldson potentially having this hamstring issue. But all he needs to do is be average. And in this first homestand, they were combined 2 for 30 with 10 strikeouts.
You can't defend that, man.
That's not going to cut it.
You just can't.
It's not going to cut it.
No.
But
no way in hell.
No, you guys are right. I mean, Hicks has kind of been like this for a while now, and it's run its course. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
It's if that nothing goes right for him, it's not his fault. It's somebody else's fault. So,
yeah.
It happens.
Just don't suck. Like I said earlier, just don't suck.
But he never would. The way I think of it like this: we're talking $30 million. It's not $30 million a year; it's $30 million over 3 years. A $10 million player is he a $10 million player? No, he's not a $10 million player. But it's not a unmovable contract. Even if you need a third of the money to get him off your books, it's not that hard. It's not a very unmovable thing to do. So I don't know.
But you got to find a willing trade partner for him. And
I think
there isn't.
Yeah, but I think it's more along the lines of what the Yankees are looking to get back. It's not that there's. I bet you if you turn around and say I'll eat $10 million of that money and give me low level, give me low level or player to be named later, I'm sure that deal gets done. Personally, I think the Yankees are kind of biding their time. They're keeping him as a little bit of insurance because I always thought it was April 1st, but I keep hearing now that it's supposed to be August 1st. That is when or sometime in August or July, one of the two, when the 10-5 rights come into play. I think they're waiting to see if Dominguez can make that jump and make it from Double A all the way to the bigs this year. Because if he's got a shot at it this year, if he's got the shot, because everyone keeps saying that he's got a shot at making that move. It's going to be quick, especially Double A. He's got a real good shot at doing 6 weeks in Double A and just firing off into Triple A, and then rock Triple A. He's on to the big leagues. So I think that they're just waiting to see. Yeah, I think they're waiting to see if he can do it. I think that's why Hicks is there. I think Hicks is right now the break glass in case of emergency outfielder. Like Florial's not there. I mean, they're looking at everybody else they're using before Hicks. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like Hicks is coming in right then and there. They're putting Stanton. They're playing Stanton, which they never wanted to play Stanton in the outfield. They're playing him before Hicks. They got who else was it?
Cabrera.
Well, yeah. Well, they got Cabrera out there.
IKF
is playing center. Yeah. I mean, look.
He's not doing that bad in center field, though, man. I mean, he plays decent center field. For a guy that's never done it before, he's doing all right.
Exactly.
But the fact that
literally two infielders are playing the outfield before Aaron Hicks. That says something.
Hey, man, you do what you got to do.
That's ridiculous.
You do what you got to do, bro. Like, what are you gonna do? Somebody has to play the field. You got to have 9 guys play the damn field.
Yeah, but that's how far. Well, that's what I'm saying. Look how far he's fallen down. He's never done himself any favors. So
at least they're giving IKF at bats. At least it's not like they're giving IKF at bats, and it's not like Florial where he came into one game and then I DFA'd him the next day.
Please, IKF right now could be a perfect trade partner with the Marlins to go down, send him down to Miami right now. Yeah, Jazz Chisholm is banged up right now. Send him down to Miami. Just send him down there.
Luzardo back.
He's killing my fantasy team. I'm not liking that. Him and Joey Wendell both on the IL. Yeah, him and Wendell are both on the IL.
That sucks.
That sucks, man. Send him down to send IKF down to Miami. They got pitching prospects that they're working on. Give me some pitching prospects from them. Call it a day, and they're good to go.
What I'm hoping for is that, you don't hope that anyone gets injured, but if they do get injured and say Donaldson ends up on the IL, I would love to see Peraza come up and play third base. That would be ideal.
He's not even playing third base in AAA just yet. Trey Sweeney's not even playing third base.
I keep hearing. Well, they were supposed to start today, but it was rained out.
Yeah.
Who's playing third for them?
Trey Sweeney.
No, Chaparro's up in AAA.
It was in AAA. But Trey
Sweeney. They got Hardman and somebody. I forget the other guy's name.
Oh yeah, Tyler Hardman.
I think Hardman's playing third, and some I forget his name right now. I'll find it in a minute, but he's another guy who did AFL, who's down the Arizona Fall League.
Jake Bowers is playing first.
Well, he plays first in the outfield.
No, I'm talking about Double A. Trey Sweeney's in Double A.
Yeah,
I was talking about the AAA.
Elijah Denham made a real nice play in center. Yeah, Elijah Denham made a pretty nice play in center field the other day.
I keep telling you
guys. The more I
guys.
see of him, Mark. I know, man. Like, I would love to see him get some ABs in place of Hicks at this point. Shoot,
you realize how bad the outfield situation has to be for Elijah Dunham to get added to the 40-man roster.
Why? Elijah Dunham is the poor man's Brett Gardner. Look how many years Brett Gardner was playing.
But I'm just saying, you don't know far down the depth chart you got to get to even get to him, because Pereira's in front of him, and so is Dominguez.
No. Well, yeah, but Pereira and Dominguez are both in Double A, while Dunham is in Triple A.
Right, but Dunham's not on the 40-man roster. Pereira is.
Yeah, Pereira is, but Pereira's also is also a good trade bait too. Pereira's a really good trade bait. Oh, and to answer your question, Dave, for AAA, you got Tyler Hardman and you got TJ Rumfeld. Those are the two guys that probably man in the corners in AAA, first and third. Even though I believe Trey Sweeney should be getting to get reps over there this year as well.
I don't get what my mom is asking. She jumped into the chat. Doesn't the money issue always fall on the fans in the end? Mom, don't understand what you're getting at, but if you could clarify, that'd be great. We could answer the question.
Yeah. So, Danny, you missed it before. I was saying that it's
good.
JT Rumfeld and Tyler Hardman. Those are probably the guys probably manning the corners for AA. So,
okay.
I could,
I just find it interesting that they haven't tried moving them over yet.
I kept on hearing rumors I heard rumors this entire offseason that the minute that Manaea and Saban came over, the first things that they were saying is move him over third base. He's going to move he's big enough to take third base on. I think his arm strength is there for third base. He's just got to work on the swing. He's got to work on his approach at bat. But he could probably get to the bigs faster going to being at third base, not shortstop. But who knows? I mean, a lot of scouts always say a lot of scouts say a lot of things, and the Yankees kind of turn and do something else with it. And sometimes it works out for them, sometimes it hasn't. So I did hear. Speaking of, we talking about Dominguez before.
On the table.
Well, I did hear a rumor that Dominguez is going to get some time in left field this time around too. So he's not just going to be solely center field. He's going to get some time in left. So I mean,
dude, all I want to see is Dominguez in the same lineup as Judge, Stanton, Rizzo, and Volpe. That would be just absolutely ridiculous. Good luck pitching to that lineup, dog. Damn. Hey.
There's a lot of things going on at that point, man.
12s. Yeah. I would like to see him wear 12.
You think he's going to wear 12?
He's been wearing it in the minor leagues. He's been wearing it in the minors.
Yeah, he was also wearing 20.
Him and Volpe.
He was wearing 20. He was wearing 24. I think it was wearing 24 at one point down in 24 and 25 down in Low A.
And I think I saw with 24. I mean, I'll the numbers change all the time.
Well, 14,
but I do
19,
think there's a big thing for like position players. Yeah, but all those numbers can change at some point too throughout the year with trades and whatever. But I did know that I keep on hearing, especially like Robinson. They said something like he was going to be like number 24 was a big thing for him, like for Dominican position play. I think that's something to think about as well for J-Dub.
So your mom
is saying the contract issues. Yeah.
So I think what she's getting at, I think we were talking about Hicks and the $30 million that he's owed. So, Mom, just to clarify, that was $70 million spread out over 7 years, so $10 million a season, and that's not really in baseball terms. That's not a lot of money. Do I think it's the fans' issue? No, it's just the cost of playing professional baseball, and that's just the way it is. That's it.
That's just the way it is. Things will never be the same.
Oh God, Danny. Anyway, let's move on to some good. Too much bad and ugly going on.
Well, that's why he's in a good mood. We're on to the good, which is his boy, Gleyber Torres, the resurgence of Gleyber Torres. Now, we've seen. All right, so let's put it all in perspective here. We've seen the two All-Star years of Gleyber. We've seen 2 really bad years of Gleyber. Last year was a good year for him, but we kind of saw what he's really supposed to be. He's not going to be the 30-something home run kind of guy that everyone expected in 2019. He's not going to be the single-digit home run guy that we saw in 2020, and even worse kind of guy in 2021. I think he's kind of in that middle where he goes 260 to 280. He's going to get you close to 20 dingers, maybe 70 RBIs, but he's now stealing bases this year too, and that's the name of the game, which is something that we never really saw. I never came across as like that speed guy. So is this version of Gleyber the most efficient version of Gleyber, and will be and going forward, because this is now we're kind of entering what will be his prime years. This is going to be this is going to be the Gleyber we're going to see for say 4 years, 4 to 5 years. Oh, Danny,
Danny,
I'll
go first with that.
Yeah. Well, we always saw that Gleyber had the potential to be one of the best infielders, well, best second baseman in the American League. If Jose Altuve's not there, you could argue that Gleyber Torres belongs right up there with Andres Jimenez, Gleyber Torres, Santiago Espinal from Toronto. Even though I don't think he's that type of dude, but he did it last year. Jose Altuve is obviously at the top of the food chain. But Gleyber Torres is definitely in that conversation. So I think he has a potential to be really, really good. And this is the year that he's going to put it all together. Like we talked about this in the offseason. Like, hey, Gleyber's going to have like a really good season or a really bad season. Like, there's not going to be an in-between with him just because of all the trade rumors, what he did in the second half of last year. So him getting off of social media, focusing on being the best player he can be, like, it's awesome to see. Like, love this from Gleyber Torres. And we need him in order to, if we want to go anywhere in the playoffs, we just can't rely on Judge, Rizzo, Stanton. Having Gleyber in that 5-hole and, well, DJ at the top, 1 through 5, us being super strong is going to be super important moving forward. So I want nothing but the best for Gleyber. I'm glad we never traded him. Like I said this offseason, if you were to trade Gleyber, now would be the time because of the value. But now he's playing into like extension talks. He's playing into like being the second baseman of the future for the Yankees, not just for the duration of his pre-arbitration years and arbitration years. He's looking to get paid. So this is going to be a good stepping stone for Gleyber to show, like, hey, I'm the guy. Do I think 24% walk rate is going to sustain? No. I think he's going to probably fall back to that. Maybe not the 8 or 9% because 6 walks in 6 games, that's a really good way to start off, and you're setting a really good foundation. So if he stays anywhere from between 15 and 20% walk rate and keeps the Ks down, wow, you're talking about a complete hitter here. And a guy that's going to get on base, a guy that's going to get you 20 bags, a guy that's going to hit you 20 homers. And we spoke about this last pod. There was only 4 dudes all of last year with 2020. And Yankees could potentially have 2 dudes like that in the lineup if Volpe finds his power and if Gleyber continues the stretch. So I'm excited for Gleyber. I want him. I've always liked him. I want him to do the best. And I think he will.
Yeah, I mean, this has been a hell of a year for Gleyber so far. Like Danny said, he's got 6 walks. He's only got 2 strikeouts. 2 strikeouts in a total of 19 at-bats. That's just ridiculous. And, he's got a 421 batting average, 560 OBP, 789 slugging percentage, and an OPS of 1,349. Like, it's just insane what he's doing. And he's already stolen 5 bases this year. Last year, he only stole 10 bags last year. He's up to 5 already with 1 caught stealing. So I think 20 bags is doable before even the first half is over. I think he might swipe maybe close to 40 or 50 at the rate that if he keeps this pace up, he'll hit that mark. And, I've never wanted to be down on this kid ever. I was just frustrated with what happened after that 2018 campaign with the 38 home runs. Obviously, he was a victim of the juice ball or whatever the hell they were doing with the baseball. If he can sustain this for the whole season, I got no issue with them keeping him at all whatsoever because he will be a constant threat in that lineup, no matter where he bats, 5th, 6th, 4th, 3rd, leadoff, whatever. So if he can sustain this and not fall off a cliff, and thank God he's staying off social media and none of this other nonsense and noise is getting in his head. If Gleyber can sustain this for the whole year, we will be fine. And I can totally get behind extending him at that point if he keeps on this pace.
Yeah, obviously he's not going to hit 400 the rest of the year, but
No,
like if he
no,
could,
I'm not saying I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying if he could bat,
this
300 or better. I mean, between 300
oh
and
my gosh,
320, I'll take it.
yeah, yeah. I mean, this is still such a really small sample size. We're only talking 6 games here, but Gleyber Torres has been the bright spot thus far in this
Mhm.
lineup. Judge is doing his thing, but like Gleyber's hit leadoff, he's hit third, he's hit fifth. So that diversity in the lineup is going to help us because I think at this point you feel comfortable with him no matter where he's at. And I think I'm glad you said that, Dave, because you could put him in the third spot when Rizzo has a day off, when Judge has a day off in that 2 spot potentially. Like he's dynamic wherever you put him. He's going to get on base at this point, and he could get you a bag. It's going to be a fun season for Gleyber, and I'm looking forward to it.
And one thing before we pass it over to Mark too, the one thing I do like about him staying with this team now is that Volpe has a veteran presence to his right in Josh Johnson. As much as we don't want him on this team, he still has that veteran presence to his right and the veteran presence to his left in Gleyber, which I think is going to be huge for his development and mental fortitude going forward in his first major league season. So to keep him on the team is absolutely crucial, in my opinion, as far as a leadership role goes.
So let's ask this question: what does this mean for Peraza? Because I said it before. If he's not starting, I said this before. If he's not starting, there's no reason if he's tearing up AAA. Yesterday he went 2 for 4 in AAA. You're wasting. He's being wasted down there. Even though he's getting everyday bats, he's being wasted. The glove is better than Volpe's glove. Volpe's bat is better than Peraza's bat. He's being wasted down AAA. What are you going to do with him? At this point, might as well trade Peraza. And
well, then what are you
going
to do next year when Josh Donaldson comes off the books? You're going to need a third baseman.
You can get yourself a third baseman. There's some third basemen that are going to be available, or you slide you can slide Cabrera down to third base. That's an easy move right there.
In theory, you could.
He's played third base.
Older.
That's what I'm saying. LeMahieu's glove is better suited more for second base than third base. The range isn't there.
I think you're gonna honestly, to answer your question, though, I think you're honestly gonna see Peraza traded at the trade deadline for a starting pitcher.
I agree.
Theory.
I don't see how they're going to keep him.
No,
I don't see how we're going to keep him. We went into it last week when Alex was here.
It's really sad because he's a great kid and a great player. It's going to be sad to see him go. But
when Alex was here, we talked about it before, where we said when I was trying to tell them, I said Peraza's defense, because he's so good at shortstop, his defense his defense and attributes play down when he moves over to third and when he moves to second base. So to put him at those positions, you're wasting his glove there. So I don't see how putting him at those spots is going to be a plus for this team defensively. So at this point, you get him moved on to somebody else and get something really good back from whoever you trade to. That's the best thing you can do.
And he's a top 10 prospect, so you can definitely get a lot. Not a lot, but you can get a decent return for him if he keeps doing what he's doing. So
he's not top 10 prospect in baseball. I mean, he's top.
No, I'm talking about in our system. He's in the top 10.
Yeah, but everyone gets ranked differently there. Yeah, but I mean, like if there's a difference, right? If you put a Volpe on the block, he's top 10 in all of baseball. It's, across the board they call him top 10. You can get a lot for if you put him on there, you're getting a lot, or you're getting something big back for him. You put a Peraza there, he's the main piece on something, and you got to add to it.
Hey, maybe he'll be the trade piece that gets either IKF or Hicks out of here. Who knows?
If you do that, you want Peraza to get you back. So you want him to get back like a Corbin Burns. Yeah, you want like a Corbin Burns back or something like that.
And he's had a tough start, Corbin Burns, but
I personally I think personally, Peraza is a great prospect right now, and that's what he will be for the foreseeable future. But we got to focus on the guys on the big league roster. We got to get Anthony Volpe going. This first homestand was interesting for him. It was up and down
He
for
did
him.
well.
So
He did not do
yeah.
bad.
No, he did it, but
He did what a rookie he did what a rookie should do. He had
what a rookie
moments.
does.
Yeah. You know what I
like?
like?
He did falter. But he came back. He did what he had to do. He's getting a real taste of big league pitching, seeing what big leaguers are going to do, or how they figure out they're going to pitch to him, how they're going to act towards him. They're not giving him. They're not going to be, oh wow, there's a rookie up here. There's Yankees #1 guy. We're looking at you. You're a rookie, and we're attacking you. You come beat us.
The one thing I like about him is that he doesn't let the moment get too big for him. He just goes up there, handles himself, does what he does. And even when he gets on base, these pitchers are terrified of this kid swiping a bag on him to the point where they're throwing over and he doesn't even have a lead. It's just nuts.
Yeah, that was one time. That happened one time. Listen.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, he's so in his head, and he's only been in the major leagues for 6 games.
Dude, that happened on the first game. It's not happened every time.
What? It still happens.
But you're making it. But what happened one time? You know what I'm saying? You're sitting there making it sound like every time he gets on base, they're throwing over when he's standing on the back. No, it happened one time.
But what was interesting, Jelly from the Giants had a terrible inning because Volpe was on first.
Sure.
He couldn't find the plate, at all.
Nope.
So I want Anthony to continue to have. He has a great eye, a really good eye, and I want to see him continue to get on base, whether it's via the hit, via the walk, it doesn't matter, and be a menace on the base pass, and continue to make the plays at short. Just make the routine plays, and we'll be all right. He doesn't have to make flashy plays or anything like that, but make the routine ones and learn from the mistakes, because that's just how he's going to get better. There's going to be development, and it's happening at the highest level on the biggest stage. So Anthony Volpe is going to be a stud come June, July, August. All these little things happening now, it's just going to make him better for the second half of the season. So I'm excited for it. I'm super excited for it. But I just want to see some more consistency.
It'll come.
It will. It will. 100%.
And speaking of some more good, Johnny Brito. Can we just talk about him for a hot minute? Wow.
Nasty.
Mark and I saw him pitch in hitting in relief at the game we went to in March in spring training. He was dominant, but what we saw the other day, man, was just absolutely ridiculous. The way he just kept his composure, just went out there and was like, here it is, hit it. And you would swear this kid's like a 5-year veteran, the way he handled himself and handled that game that he started. Just absolutely phenomenal.
100%. Game 3 at Yankee Stadium, and you throw 5 shutout innings against a Giants team that today hit the other day they had 7 homers. Today they scored 13 runs on the White Sox. So our Yankees pitching shut them out twice, which is the first time that's ever happened in Yankees history. So out of the first 3 games, 2 shutouts, and Johnny Brito was a part of that. And that was wow. 95-97, the changeup was disgusting. 11 swings and misses, 6 Ks on the changeup. The ball's put in play, didn't even leave the infield. They didn't leave the infield on the changeup.
And what makes me mad about this is just you went out and you gave Frankie Montas $7.5 million to not even be able to pitch this year. Well, but let me get to what I'm getting at. So you go out and you spend what's making me mad is you go out and spend $7 million on a guy that's probably not even going to pitch this year when you have this kind of talent in a rookie sitting in the minor leagues, and now you're trying to figure out how you keep him a part of this for the whole season going forward without blowing through his options by mid-season. You know what I mean?
Well, no. So the way the options work is that you get 3 years worth of options. So each individual year, you get an option year. So during your first 3 years in the
Gotcha.
big leagues, you have the option to go up and down, which is why Florial was on the Yankees for those 3 years, and now the 4th year on the big league club, he's out of options, so the Yankees had to DFA him. But there's only one start for Brito. Yes, it was positive and it's encouraging, but Montas has been a stud in this league, and he's done it multiple times. So we didn't see it because he was in Oakland. But even in Oakland, he was a stud. We didn't trade away those dudes for nothing. Montas is a stud, and there's a good chance he will come back this year in July, August, September timeframe. It's hard to come back from shoulder surgery. Anything with the shoulder, doctors haven't figured that out yet. So, but I think Montas is he will come back at some point, and Johnny's gonna be our 5th starter. We're not gonna probably use him again until the 12th of April, which is okay, But with this rain out today, maybe that pushes him up a bit. We'll see.
Yeah, that rain. This rain. I've never seen a game get postponed 48 hours before it happens. Like that to me was just like.
Apparently, it was coming down in Baltimore, and down here in Virginia, it's been 85, and it's been really nice. So
yeah, it was
I didn't
supposed
see
to be Florida too, and my mom called me today. She's like, "Wasn't it supposed to rain on there today?" I'm like, "I don't know. It's been in 90 degrees with sunshine and clear sky, so who knows what it was supposed to do, because survey says it doesn't rain."
Exactly.
So.
Another
I'm just encouraged about Brito.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
I like again, just getting back to Brito. I just can't wait to see this kid in the rotation full time. It's just gonna be insane. You pair Cole, Rodon, Brito, and Severino possibly next year if Severino decides to stay. But Garrett Cole just doing Garrett Cole things.
Yeah, the thing with Brito, like long term, I just want to see some more of that slider and see some improvement with that. I would like to see some swing and miss with the slider. That'll be my only critique for him long term. He's a young kid. He's still 23, 24, something like that. Maybe 25. But
I think he's 25.
Yeah, he's 25, I think. And first time in the big, so teams will catch up to him. He'll have an ERA before the season's over. But Garrett Cole had a great first 2 starts, and he's really shown that this might be the year where he wins that Cy Young, hopefully, at least based on the first 2 starts.
Well, he doesn't have to compete with Justin
especially throwing the shutout
Verlander anymore, so
that's true.
But he does have to compete with Luis Castillo in Seattle.
Yep.
And
Dylan Cease, Manoa, but he had a bad start the first time.
And this might be a bold prediction on my parts, but I am 2 for 2 in bold predictions so far this year. But I'm gonna go with Pat Sandoval out with the Angels. I mean, he could be
really good
in that conversation too after seeing what he did in the WBC. Granted, it's a different environment, different kind of competition, but from when I saw that game for him pitching for Team Mexico, I think he's a sleeper in the West for sure.
He's nasty.
Oh yeah,
Garrett Cole already.
Filthy stuff.
Yeah, through 2 starts, Garrett Cole already has a .7 WAR. He's one really good start away. Yeah,
so does
from
Gleyber.
having a 1 WAR. Yeah, through like 2 weeks of the season. That's crazy. Yeah, I love that. I love that.
I mean, amazing things happen when Billy Crystal isn't there to, make you ram your head through a wall because you're starting the game late, or you're not playing that not dumb, but that Star Wars Death Star sound when there's 3 strikes on every batter. They only do it with the last batter.
He's the one that doesn't. Yeah, he's the one that doesn't like it, right?
Yeah.
Garrett.
Yeah, got him all spun up, and then you said that's why I lost the game. It's like, dude, you're getting paid over $300 million. Just go out there and throw the damn ball, will you?
Get it.
Get it. Just shut up.
Garrett.
Shut up and pitch, please.
.73 ERA through 2 starts, 12 in the 3rd innings. So he's giving us some length. He's being our dude, man, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's just
and
short
Johnny
hair.
Brito's 25. He's 25 this year. Brito.
25.
He was born in 98.
Yeah.
February 17th of 98. So,
Okay. Cool.
how do we feel about
But
Domingo?
he had okay start.
They say when he's coming back up.
Possibly the 12th of April. Or now, because of the Orioles series getting all jacked up, they were saying he might start one of these games against the Orioles, but still uncertain about that.
He's got to be down for like 10 or 15
10
days
days
before they can bring him
10
up.
da-
10 days.
10 days barring 10 days barring injury.
Injury, correct.
10 days.
Right.
I know.
Correct. So I'm
Unless
not
it's
sure
an injury
what day he went
replacement.
down. Yeah. Then they
He
can
went
bring
down
him
the
up
same
early.
day. Like after he started, he went down the next day. He went down the first
Okay.
game of the Phillies series.
What date was that?
Last Wednesday, I think.
Let me look it up.
Like the 3rd or 4th of April, he got sent back.
So he could
So
come
might be
back.
looking at April 14th.
Yeah.
Yeah. And another guy you can throw into the
I'm here
mix in
for
this
it, though.
rotation too. Like if Severino doesn't stay, you could have Cole, Rodon, Schmidt, Brito, and Heel coming back from like.
Yeah, Luis Hill's gonna be interesting. Well, Schmidt was up and down. That was like he looked really good first time through, and then the second time through, I think the Giants just kind of caught on to what he was doing, and he
I
had to
think he
kind
was
of.
tipping his pitches a little
That
bit.
one pitch to Brandon Crawford, that was a kind of backbreaker right there. Peterson put a one into the seats too. Those are two lefties that you have to get out in that lineup. For the Giants if you want to beat them.
Absolutely.
So. And then Domingo pitched well, but the bullpen kind of
What'd you say, Mark?
Volpe didn't make that play at second, and then the bullpen kind of imploded. But go ahead, Mark.
I was going to say you guys were talking about starting pitching. Well, you got Will Warren, who's been working on some new pitches down in the minors. I think he's added velocity to a 4-seam fastball, so he's got a bunch of pitches there. Beaters added some more. When you're talking about Luis Hill, what they said is that he fiddled with his grip, and he's getting more separation for his changeup. He's getting more separation on that changeup. So he was throwing up in the 90s, but not just the 90s, but like upper mid 90s. Now it's going to be possibly more of a true changeup where he's got the 10 mile an hour separation there. So that might be the key for him. I think I forget who I was reading about. I think Warren or Beater. I think one of them. Somebody was working on a one finger changeup or something like that. Just something really, just something different that they're just to use with the grip, and it's supposedly working well for them. So, one thing Yankees have been doing in the minor,
one finger changeup. Like
it's just the way. Hold on, it's kind of like having
one finger
slug. It's kind of like so. You see this like this would be like down? A one, yeah, with the finger down. So the one finger is the prominent part on the middle on the ball.
Is he pronating?
I would imagine that would
it's kind of
be
like
yeah,
maybe
if you throw it the right way, though,
might pronate it like this.
If you could throw it,
there's no way.
You could
because
you
circle
can
change
throw that
like this right here. This right here.
You have to have this.
Like there's a one finger sinker, a power sinker as well, high velocity, and it just the minute you rip down with the fingernails like that, for those who can.
And if you were to throw it the other way too, like a breaking pitch,
kind of push.
If you were to throw that like a break
ball back a little bit further, and
you really got to get the ball in there. I don't know where my ball is, but
there's wild thing. Pitching coaches, yeah, oh yeah. I mean, like you figure like most changeups are kind of like this, or even like a 3-finger. You could do like a 3-finger changeup along the way, as long as the ball's packed in. But a lot of times,
called the circle change.
What you do is you just kind of like a circle. Yeah, that's the circle. But then there's also the 3-finger change like this. So you see like where
that's more of like a palm ball.
If you can see my screen,
like a palm ball, yeah.
Yeah, but some people do all that stuff.
But if you were to have that one finger grip like you were showing earlier, and you were to throw it the way you would throw a slider, you would almost be throwing a slider change, which would just be filthy as all. Oof.
The Slambio. The
Yeah, like
Slambio.
Ian Hamilton was throwing, and I called him coming out at some point.
We did.
Too, so
yeah, that first outing that he had.
Did you hear
in
the story
spring,
behind him?
Like, oh snap, he was nasty. Yeah.
Did you hear the story behind him? He took a line drive to the face in the Charlotte Knights dugout when he was in AAA in 2019, and like you could still see the dent in the side of his face. You could still see the dent in the side of it. He had to get his teeth, jaw, and face reconstructed, and it took him 3 years to get to this point, back into the majors. So hopefully, I was going to speak about him tonight too, seeing what he did the other night. And the first time I saw him in spring training, I'm like, this guy has to make the roster. He's a compact, explosive delivery to the plate with high velocity, and that slider change thing that he throws, man, it's just sick. It is disgusting. But it's like, what do you do with him when Trevino and Canely come back? It's like,
down
odd man out at that point, which is unfortunate when you find these diamond in the rough type guys. So,
and Canely's about to start ramping up his throwing.
Good.
So he's going to be making his way back. Sevy threw 90 pitches. Oh, not 90 pitches. He threw from 90 feet. So next ramp up is simulated inning. Rodon threw 2 innings of simulated ball. So,
How do you feel about Severino going forward, given the last 3 years with throwing injuries, the groin?
Yeah. I just need him to stay healthy.
Worry about him.
That's it. Yeah. If he has a good year this year, I wouldn't be surprised if Yankees offer him like a 1 year, 2 year deal, and some team may come out with a 3 or 4 or 5 year deal. But he has to stay healthy.
Do you think Cashman telling him he couldn't pitch for the Dominican Republic and the WBC has soured the relationship at all?
If it does, that's kind of soft.
I mean,
he got hurt. He got hurt anyway.
The only reason why
he took all the precautions.
Yeah.
I don't think Severino's that type of dude. At least I hope not. We don't know him like that. So
yeah, I hope not either.
But
nope.
But some starting pitchers are prima donnas, so we'll see.
But, getting back to Domingo, everyone's like, "Oh my god!" I don't really pay attention to social media, but after this game, I kind of did because that game was the first time Domingo had actually pitched in game action since the last week of spring training. So he was going on almost 2 weeks of non-competitive baseball activities, if we want to call it that. And I was like, he's a bum, trade him, he's done. I'm like, you do realize this is the first time he's pitched in about, nearly 2 weeks in a game situation. Pump the brakes, he'll be fine. Step off the ledge.
I think our rotation overall is going to do pretty good, even with Sevy and Rodon being down and Montas at this point. But I'm interested to see going forward who they're going to go with in that 5 spot, whether it's Domingo, whether it's Clark. I think Clark has options. I'm not sure if Domingo does. So that could be a deciding. He doesn't, so that could be a deciding factor right there. Keep Clark stretched out in case of injury, and Domingo get in that 5 spot when everybody comes back. What am I by everybody? I mean Sevy and Rodon. I'm excited for Rodon to make his debut, especially in Yankee Stadium, because he's such a bulldog. So look forward to it. I am a little concerned about the bullpen. Clay Holmes dealt against Philly, and that's the Clay Holmes that we need. But that outing against the Giants was concerning. I'm not sure if it was because of the situation, or if it was just opening day nerves, something like that.
Not being able to get a grip on the ball. I mean, I'm not trying to I don't want to sound like I'm coming down on him, but there's just something about him that sometimes when he comes in, it's just, I guess it's through the first three pitches. If the first three pitches aren't like high velocity and down, like I start getting this weird feeling in my gut, like maybe this isn't exactly gonna work out tonight. I would definitely like this. That's why I can't wait to get Canely back, because then you got a closer 1 and a 1A if necessary in Canely.
Yeah.
Or even when Trevino comes back. So theoretically, you could have 3 closers down that bullpen when Trevino comes back. Big glue.
We got a lot of closers in that bullpen. Wandy could be a closer for a lot of teams. Loizaga, Mike King. All those dudes could be closers.
So speaking of closers, I couldn't let tonight finish out without talking about our old friend Aroldis Chapman and just completely trucking that umpire.
Yeah.
To the point where he was like, yeah, the runner's safe. No, wait, he's out.
But he was also throwing 104 in that outing.
Yeah.
Or not that outing, the next outing. So
it's just like, it almost makes me kind of wonder, like, did he just stop caring, or did New York just get to him? Because he's just gone to Kansas City and has just been like, meh. Just pitching great. I mean, it's only been one game. I mean, I have nothing really to compare it to.
It's been a couple games.
Pitched in one game. Has it?
It's been a couple. Yeah, no. He's, good for him. But he's not even closing for them, which is interesting.
Yeah.
But he will
they
be
got,
at some point.
Amir Garrett, too, who I think was their closer last year, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe I'm wrong.
Nah,
we're not a Royals podcast, nor do I even really follow the Royals, but
he's not that guy. I'll say that. They have this kid, Coleman, who's closing games for them, but
gotcha.
And Clark. They got some bullpen arms, but when you're throwing 103, 104 back in Kansas City, good for Aroldis. Let's see how long he keeps it up.
We'll see. You got anything else, or you think we're good?
I'm good. Yeah, let's go.
All right. Well, appreciate everybody watching and following along tonight. I know we said last week we were going to do 2 shows a week, but given the fact that this Sunday is Easter, we are going to go ahead and forego our second show of the week, but we'll be back on Thursday and then again on Sunday of next week. So definitely hit up our Linktree, look at our additional YouTube content, which is the second link on the Linktree menu. Also, they finally have Anthony Volpe jerseys on lids. So go to Linktree, use our lids link, and go get your Volpe jersey. They also have different discounts that are compatible with some jerseys and some aren't. Definitely check that out, though. And we got our own merch store. We got new merch in the merch store. So go hit that up and use code BM15, saves you $15 on your order. You'll be supporting the podcast and helping us do more cool stuff, which this August we got something brewing down in Miami for the Marlins series. So stay tuned for updates on that. For Mark and Manny and Alex, who couldn't be here. Well, Mark was having technical difficulties, but for Alex, who couldn't be here, Danny and myself, Dave, Bronx Muchachos, signing off.